Hey, good morning. I'm Dr. Ted Morter. Welcome to Morter March Monday. Thank you for being here with me today on this lovely Monday. And springtime's coming. I was working in the garden yesterday and the day before planting some flowers and things. It's just a little bit early for where we live down here in the valley for frost. So we got to be careful about that with the tender plants. So anyway, I was thinking about, a lot of people that I speak with during the day, or maybe not a lot, but some people I speak with during the day, they tend to get caught up in things that make them unhappy and things that make them really question hope and question faith and question possibilities. And I think that's true for everyone to a degree. So this morning I thought I'd just talk for a moment about happiness and and for you to think about something that really makes you happy. The way that I've learned over the years to get happy when you're in a down spot. Sometimes I get down too, and I have lots of things that are happening and I'm thinking, well, why would that be? What's going on with that? And what I've learned is to get over that, you have to stop and think about something different. You've got to flip the script, so to speak, into something that's going to end up making you feel a little more happy. Because I can't just say, well, forget about that, go feel happy. Well, that doesn't work. It's like, don't think about a pink elephant. Well, you know how that goes. So when we talk about this, the main goal is to feel happy and loving and giving and grateful and thankful and in gratitude. That's the goal, because that stimulates your body to repair and rebuild and heal, versus when you're upset and cranky and short. That makes your body more irritated and inflamed, and which causes disease and causes problems. So what I've learned and what I've read about, and Jan and I have read about this and we talk about it, is how to evoke that happiness feeling when you're having a challenge with something. Well, talk therapy usually doesn't work. So you've got to talk to your brain up here. Your brain has to talk to itself and say, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. This is what I choose to do. So my advice is to find something in your life that really makes you feel happy. Think about yesterday, for example. What did you do that really made you happy? When was a happy time that you had, even if it was just for a few moments? This could be like, petting your dog, or smelling a baby's fresh smell, or getting a little kiss, or something with your wife or with your kids or parents. Maybe something good happened there. So those would all be something that you could rely on, that you could go back to. Yesterday, for example, Jan and I went over to a property we have downtown Rogers there, and we were looking at this house and some of the possibilities and the dreams and the hopes and what could we do? How could we make this go? What could it look like? Would we really want to fix it all up to our standard, or would we fix it up to a standard that you might want to lease it out for Airbnb or something? I don't know, whatever she decides that would be the thing that would make her happy, because this is really her dream. And I'm very supportive of it. It's my dream too, but it's her idea. I think it's a great idea. So that was a really happy time. I enjoyed that. We talked about all the things that we could do. We figured out how to get the Nest thermostat to work so the air conditioner kicked on. I was happy when the air conditioner finally kicked on over there, because it's an older house. It was built in 1912 right in downtown Rogers. It's a great property. Anyway, so these, you can see my voice is escalating and I'm feeling a little more happy as I talk about that, because of the possibilities, the potential, the things that I'll be able to do to build and help, get it up to speed. I'm going to meet a gentleman over there in just a moment who's going to start mowing the yard and getting it all fixed up and taken care of. So when you're feeling down, you go to a place like that. You go to a place in your mind that was really happy. Let's say you're down about your parents, something going on with that. Instead of, maybe they're not acting up the way you'd like them to act. What would you do there? When you're dealing with them, you would redirect the conversation. I was talking with another friend yesterday about redirecting, and you would embrace the good times that you've had over your entire life. Pick out something you really enjoyed doing together. And that's what you think about. So if you're seeing and visualizing something that's not working out the way you'd like it, think back to a time that was really fun, that was happy. And then they can start to replace those negative thoughts and the challenges that you have with that with possibilities of how good it has been and how good it could be. These are just things that, I'll throw out there. Take it or leave it. It's up to you completely. You can have a great day or a bad day. It's going to be on you, whichever you decide. And I don't always jump right to that happy thing right when I'm feeling upset about something either. Sometimes it takes me a few hours or maybe a day to get back on the right track, get my focus back on things that are really important, things that are really good. And, let's say something that happens that you weren't really excited about that, or it hurt your feelings, or you were just unhappy, or whatever that might be. Just stop for a moment, rekindle the happiness button in your brain and say, when was I really happy in this situation? What made me really happy? Go back to that, think about that, meditate on that, if you will, dream about that, do rhythmic breathing on that, do a Morter march on that, do things that would help solidify that back into your physiology, the way your body's functioning. This is what I would recommend, how to stay on the happy mode. For example, this past weekend, I was supposed to go to Salt Lake City and to a great program. I was going to go out there and meet some people that are great health coaches and coaching on podcasting and things that I think are really, really important. Went out to the airport, in that morning, the first morning, and was there for 4 hours. Finally, they kept canceling. And, I said, well, this is not going to work. What's going to happen here? So they finally put us on a plane, blah, blah, blah. We're sitting on the plane ready to go. And the pilot comes on, I got bad news. So you know what that's going to be. So he comes out and was talking to us up there in the front of the plane. We were talking. He said, they're not going to let us release. I thought we were going to get to go. There was a window. We could get to Dallas. The problem was the weather in Dallas. And he said, we might be able to get there, but you never know. They're not going to let us go now. If you can't land, they're not going to let you leave. And he said, even if they do open the window, we'll probably try for Dallas and we'll end up in Wichita Falls. I'm like, well, this sounds like planes, trains, and automobiles to me. I'm really interested in that. I said, I tell you what, I just pulled out my phone and I rebooked the thing for the next day while I was sitting there on the plane. So I rebooked for the next day. I had to buy another ticket because you can't get through to the airlines when something like this happens in Dallas. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, so I came home. Next day, get up. I was on an early flight that day. I didn't like that, but I had to get up in the 4s and leave out there, go out there. 6, I get there at the airport, sit down, had a cup of coffee, and go over to the gate, said everything's good. Bing, delayed. Bing, delayed. Now it's delayed till 1 o'clock that day. So I'm going to spend 6 hours in the airport in Rogers, not knowing for sure I can even make a connection in Chicago. I went through Chicago this time. No. Then they finally tell me I can get to Salt Lake City that night, which now the class is almost over. I got one more day of class. I can't even get there till 10 o'clock that night, maybe. So it wasn't meant to be. I finally lowered my shoulders. I said, you know what? I'm going to be happier if I stay home. Jana was happy I stayed home. I was happy I got to stay home. There's other things I still want to do, so I made contact with the instructor, and he's a good friend of mine. He said, Ted, don't worry. I got you covered. It was an inner circle type group that he was lecturing to. He said, I've recorded everything. I'll send you the link. I'll do a personal call with you. We'll get you up to speed quickly. And I'm like, okay, hey, Josh. I'm like, great. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So see, it works out well. It cost me a lot less money not to travel and stay in, hotels and Uber. I had $200 worth of Ubers just going from my house back and forth to the airport, for God's sake. So, it wasn't meant to be that day. So I could be unhappy about it all weekend, but no. I was happy to be home. The dogs were happy I was home. Jana was happy I was home. We had a great weekend. We had a party out here for some friends in the barn, and I got to work in the yard and do things I really enjoy doing. So you have to just refocus on something that's going to make you happy. Focus on things that make you happy. Don't focus on the things that are going to make you unhappy. You can't just put them away and forget about them. You just have to replace them with something else. You have to divert. You have to change the way you're thinking back to something else. So, do I have that down pat? Can I do it in an instant? No. I wish. I bet Jana wishes too. I could, but you know what? I do the best I can. I can do better. So we'll all do better. Let's just make a pact that we're all going to do better. We're going to be thankful and grateful for happiness in our lives, because you're worth every second of happiness that you have. You're worth every moment, every second that you can think about happiness. That's when your body heals. And when it's unhappy, you don't heal. There we go. It was 9 minutes of Ted wisdom on a Monday morning. Maybe. I hope it helps you in some way today. Start off your Monday and the rest of your week being as happy as you possibly can. And when you find yourself sinking back into something that's not necessarily beneficial to you and your health and your environment and your family and all the people around you, maybe you should just stop and lower your shoulders and take a breath, do some breathing and say, okay, when was I really happy? I was happy yesterday at this point. I was happy when I went out to feed the donkeys and they were baying and, happy to see me. They wanted some food. They licked my hand, happy. Happy when I found the eggs in the chicken coop. Happy when I learned that the reason they weren't laying in the boxes, they'd made a nest down on the floor. I had to take care of that. So what makes you happy? Don't know. You get to decide that. I can't pick it for you. I can't pick it for you. I can't tell you what's going to make you happy and what's not going to make you happy. all I can say is when you learn to identify that, then you can switch the script to that versus being upset. I'm thankful and grateful for happiness in my life. See, because I want more of that. And I want my body to accept that. And I want my body to reprogram and go to the model of happiness and healing versus upset and becoming sick. Just saying. All right, let's do that. So I'm going to do the Morter March and go to www.mortermarchmonday. Watch those videos. I know you hi, Allison. I know you know how these videos work. I know you know they're there. So maybe you should go back and watch them again. It's a different place and time right now. You're at a different space. When you watch it this time, it may mean something different to you. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'd suggest. Happy, happy, happy. I'm thankful and grateful for happiness in my life. I'm thankful and grateful. And so I'm going to visualize, before I do this, I'm going to visualize when I was really happy. I'm thinking about being over in that property that Jan and I were at yesterday. The floor is unlevel. It's 1912. It's all right. Happy. So I'm going to put my left foot out, right arm up. I'm thankful and grateful for happiness in my life. Thankful and grateful for happiness in my life. Thankful and grateful for happiness in my life. Just let that sink in. Now we'll switch the other way. I'll put my right foot out. I know it looks opposite on the video. I'm thankful and grateful for happiness in my life. Thankful and grateful for happiness. Happiness in my life. Okay? That was one set. We're going to do 3. I'm thankful and grateful for happiness in my life. Thankful and grateful for happiness in my life. Happiness in my life. Thankful and grateful for happiness in my life. Happiness in my life. Thankful and grateful for happiness in my life. That's 2 sets. We got one more to go. You need to refocus and think about what that happy thing was? I'll give you a second. Happy, happy, happy. So freaking happy you can't stand it. I'm so happy. I'm happy and thankful and grateful for happiness in my life. Happiness. I'm looking for more happiness in my life. I'm bringing on the happiness. Welcoming happiness into my life. Thank you for happiness in my life. I'm thankful and grateful for happiness in my life. Happiness in my life, for happiness in my life. So think about that this week. Do things that bring that happiness into your life. Stay away from the things that are going to make you upset. That's my advice. Hey, I'm happy. I'm going over to the property right now. There's a guy going to meet me over there who's going to mow the yard. I'm happy about that. I don't have to go do that. How do I mow that yard? With a checkbook, as they say. I'll see you next week.